Alright guys, so I actually just completely forgot to ever make a video on this because I like to generally cover everything that's coming in FGO, right? If there's some new news or there's a raid up going on, there's a new banner, new buffs come out, I generally like to make sure that everybody's informed about everything that's going on both versions of the game. Whether you play JP or not, maybe you're a JP main, you don't even play NA, it's really cool to see the exclusive things that are happening on both versions and at least know what's coming to both versions so you can always kind of stay informed. But somehow I just completely missed out on doing this video on Dantes' new buff. I also forgot to do a video on Musashi's new buff because, you know, I found out about that like a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to also talk about that kind of towards the end of the video, just so it's somewhere on the channel, somewhere I've talked about it. But yeah, if you enjoy daily FGO content and you enjoy your boy trying his best to keep you informed, make sure to leave a like on the video and you subscribe to the channel. Also, I stream every weekday over on my Twitch, starting at about 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But anyway, let's go ahead and start diving right into this. So Dantes' buff is actually really insane for this new Melty Blood event. I think it helps him out quite a bit while also not making him stupid dummy broken, I guess is the way that I would say it. Like, they somehow balanced making Dantes a bit better, but also not making him like the most broken servant in the game. The only thing that's a little weird to me is that we just didn't get anything for like Artorio or Ushi Wakamaru, right? They didn't get any buffs for this, which I think is a little bit strange because Artoria, you could argue like she's gotten the NP upgrade, they've buffed 2 of her skills, you know, that gave her like a battery and gave her like more NP damage and the ability to just go like Buster Ooga Booga for like the entire turn. But Ushi's a bit of an older servant, and while I do think she is really good, you know, I have a low star legend video kind of covering her and talking about why she actually is really strong, and one of those servants that I recommend everybody, you know, level up. She's just really good in general. She could still like use more things, right, to like make her even better, right? I mean, personally, I would like to see like maybe a battery thrown on for a lot of these older servants because it helps them gen their NP, because since they're like year 1 and their hits aren't quite as good, they could really use something to like boost their consistency. Or you could just slap on like a fat NP damage mod or like a special damage mod that kind of gives them a bit of a niche when it comes to boss killing. So like anything like that I think would have been really cool. But I guess Dantes getting a buff is also pretty nice because they really haven't done anything with him in quite a while. So they basically took this skill that was basically just NP gain for 3 turns and they slapped on a 30% battery while also giving him an on-attack buff that every time he attacks, he removes the latest buff from the enemy when he's critting, right? Which he is a quick AoE servant, right? He's going to be dropping stars all over the place. If you've played with Dantes literally ever, you know this guy can drop a ton of stars and critting really shouldn't be that big of an issue, especially with like Ruler Scotty, who just like passively gen stars on her 3rd skill, I believe it is, but she does passively gen stars as well. So like, even then, you should have more than enough stars to be like critting consistently, especially with the new buffs to like Brave Chains and especially the Quick Chains where those actually drop 20 stars now. So this should almost just say guaranteed every time he attacks, he's going to be removing the latest buff from the enemy, which is kind of nice if you want to use Dantes in more challenging content, right? Because remember, he still does some pretty good damage and he's got like Pierce Invincibility. And that also means he has the Wombo combo of being able to not only bypass enemies' buffs, but let's say they're unremovable like dodges or something, he's able to bypass that with the Pierce Invincibility or yeet it off to make it easier for his comrades to do more damage. So overall, it's just like a very, very strong upgrade for him. The battery, I think, is nice if you're packing like an NP 1 or 2 Dantes, right? Maybe you're not looping quite enough. I think that's just something that's generally good for a lot of quick servants, is just give them the battery, because unlike art servants, they struggle to loop as well. And so I think just every quick farming servant should really just come packed with something like that, right? But overall, not bad. Definitely going to be helping out Dantes a bit. The only thing that I kind of wish he maybe got instead of this is maybe giving him like an attack buff. I know people are going to be like, well, Dantes already has an attack buff. But here's the thing that people don't realize is that Dantes, where is it? Here it is. Dantes' attack buff is only for 1 turn, and it's a pretty big attack buff, but the fact that you can't carry it for all 3 nodes does kind of hurt his ability to farm like more effectively, and also why Dantes especially is a servant that you kind of want at NP 2 or 3, because you always save this for the last node to guarantee that you're going to obliterate whatever big like 200, 300k servant is there. But if it was 3 turns, right, you could carry it through all 3 nodes and more consistently clear with your lower NP copies. I see that that's what this is for, right? This is going to help him out if you have a lower copy Dantes and, you know, I don't know, you're looping 80% or something. This is at least going to help you farm one of those nodes, as well as just being good for difficult content as well. If you get as a pen skill, he can technically use 50% starting charge CEs as well. So I don't know, like, while it is good, it's just, I would have liked something like this. Maybe every time he fires his NP or something like that, he like gets a quick buff or just something along those lines. I know it seems really weird to be like, oh, I would have liked him to be a bit more consistent with his damage, because everybody will look at the chart and be like, his damage is so high, but you gotta remember that his damage is only calc that high while he has his attack buff, you know, active. Like, once he loses the attack buff, his damage goes down like a lot. So I would have liked that just a little bit more for consistency, but you can argue that's kind of what this is doing over here. Now for kind of like the random talking of Musashi's buff, basically they just made it 3 turns, right? They basically just made her absolutely insane. Again, I know it doesn't really have a lot to do with the melty blood thing, but I just want it to be here on the channel so people that don't know about this buff do know about it, because I just literally never covered it. Like, I never talked about it. But it just makes Musashi insane, because originally, if you don't know, it would make this like a 1-turn doubling of her hits. And so if you crit on like her arts card, you were basically critting on a 6-hit arts card, and you would just refund a metric butt ton of her NP. Same thing for her quick card. Her quick card could drop a lot of stars, especially with, I believe it's her 3rd skill here. Yeah, that also was buffing her star gen. And now, for whatever reason, they were just like, yeah, just slap on like the double hits for 3 turns. So basically, Musashi functionally as a servant, like 90% of the time, is going to have like 6 quick card, or not 6 quick cards, but 6 quick hits, 6 arts hits, and then, I don't know, like the 4 buster hits might matter a little bit if you're like doing like star genning and such, because you can gen some stars with buster cards if you guys are familiar with like Emiya, Raika, Iskander, stuff like that. But they made her dummy broken. Like, this was also just completely unnecessary. I don't know why they like slapped this on here. They're just like, and you know what? She's not tanky enough. You know, Musashi, she's just, you know, this invincibility, it's just not doing enough for her. Oh, and she could also remove her own debuffs. That's just not enough. What if we also made her like a bit thicker? Believe you me, I don't think Musashi needs any more thickness. But yeah, I just wanted to do a little bit of a video pretty much talking about Dantes, and then I kind of wanted to fix my mistake of not ever talking about this skill upgrade, because it's not like something I can just like brush under the bridge or like sweep under the table being like, you know, it's not that big of a deal. This is really insane. Like, it's one of like the most broken things a servant has like in the entirety of the game, because hits are like a fundamental thing that every servant does, and they're kind of fixed with their NP gain to be balanced, right? But for Musashi, they just gave her really good NP gain and then like really good natural hits. So then this just made it even more broken. I don't know why they did that. But overall, if you have Edmund Dantes, look forward to getting this buff in the future. It's really, really solid. I want the Ushi buffs, and I also want this Ushi outfit. I know a lot of people were complaining about it, but I just want it. I think it looks cute. You know, I think it's fine. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm just out of pocket. I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's sick. But I don't know, people are losing their minds. They're being like, I can't believe they gave her an undershirt. I was like, I mean, it's still cute. Like, Ushi's still like adorable. Like, it didn't make her like any less cute. Yeah, you pervs, all right? Come on, let the girl have a shirt. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day, and I will catch you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.